Hello. Well, my name is Holly Holiday, and I am coming to you as the president of Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote. Today, something really historic happened. I mean, something really fabulous for women. And there's a bit of confusion about what it all means and what is going on. So I wanted to come and spend just a few minutes giving a brief explanation of what you're looking at. So today, President Biden announced, and we'll put it up here, President Biden announced that the Equal Rights Amendment is now the law of the land. And by doing so, what he is saying is that all this guarantees all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. And here, sex, we mean gender, regardless of their gender. This language around sex comes because of the way that this has initiated in the process. And when I tell you, the fight for gender equality has been a long time coming. How long do you say? Well, actually, this fight predates this, but in 1923, at the 75th anniversary of the National Women's Movement in Seneca Falls, New York, that was when the Equal Rights Amendment, now we refer to as the ERA, was first introduced, and that was in 1923. Between 1923 and 1972, it took that long in order for it to get language passed through Congress. Now, a bit of a nerdy part here. There are actually two key steps to passing a constitutional amendment. The first step is to get language passed through Congress. The second step is to have it ratified by the states. And in order to be ratified by the states, it has to be ratified by, I believe, it has to be ratified by three-fourths of the states, which in this case, with 50 states, means we need 38 states in order for it to be viable. So where has it gone? And I'm going to actually, because I want to make sure that you all have the right and correct information, I'm going to go ahead and share with you that you can find out about this constitutional amendment process through our National Archives. But basically, two steps. First step, pass Congress. Second step, get ratification from three-fourths of the states. In this case, just so you don't have to do the math, that is 38 states. So, in 1923, the language was introduced. In 1972, it finally passed Congress. And in 2020, it finally met the ratification standard of 38 states, with the state of Virginia bringing it home so that it was ratified. So you're saying, hey, Holly, we already did all the things. Why are we still talking about this? This seems like a 4-year-old conversation. Well, it's not, because the final step is that it has to be acknowledged and published. So today, President Biden announced, which then makes it part of the official record, although not yet published, to say that it is indeed that it should be recognized as the as part of the Constitution. And so that's where we are today, and we want to celebrate that. It is a big, big, big deal to have reached this point. I want to note here that President Biden has, since his first election to Congress, been a big supporter of the Equal Rights Amendment. So it is no surprise that President Biden would also be the president to acknowledge its addition into the Constitution. The Federal Register, which is where things get published, was released today, and unfortunately, the new amendment was not part of today's release, but we hope to see it in a future release. And ultimately, it means what we thought it would always mean. We hope For one, that it will that it can that the by the president recognizing it as an official part of the Constitution, that it offers the protections that people who are being discriminated against based on their gender now have a recourse. What does that mean? It means lawsuits. Here we come. And like most things that are happening in our society, we can expect that there will be lawsuits on both sides. Lawsuits that say that it is not a valid amendment, which of course it does meet those standards. Lawsuits that say that their rights have been violated as a result. But at least having an official statement, having it be part of the official presidential record, helps to increase its standing, that it can be used to protect people. And let me tell you, we need protections more than ever. And in a time when we see so many rights being taken away, it is great to celebrate that rights as it relates to gender are now going to be protected. We'll see what the courts have to say on this, because I don't think this story is done. And I hope you all remain vigilant in maintaining and supporting the Equal Rights Amendment as part of the Constitution. It is always a pleasure to be able to come on and talk about when we can see some democracy victories, and today is one. And let me say thank you, President Biden, for standing with us. So let's go. Oh, so can it be overturned by orange face was a question that we got from our one of our people watching, and the answer is no, because President Biden isn't uh, didn't decide that it was a law. So this didn't get decided by President Biden. It was acknowledged by President Biden, because the process for this being law has to pass through the Congress first, which it did in 1972, and then finally ratified by the states. And there are 38 states that had to then take their own votes to ratify it. And all of that has been done. So, in the process, as I shared, if you look at the National Archives, which has documented the process, as well as other constitutional journals, you will see that there's only a two-step process, and the president really doesn't have a role in either the process. So while incoming President Trump may have some thoughts about the veracity of this, the reality is that this decision was made by Congress and the states, and it predates his authority. And so, as he can no more change any other constitutional amendment, he would not be able to change this one either. So this is why this is such a great day. I think again, having the president announce it really helps us to understand its veracity, and for him to put his stamp and to support it just also shows the character of this particular president, and recognizing the need to have protections against genders, because we are seeing we're seeing a rise in uh, uh, things that are discrimination based on gender is on the rise. And so, this is a great day to be an American. It's a great day to feel seen, for those people who might be subject to gender discrimination. And so, yeah, Equal Rights Amendment, another win in the books. More, I'm sure, to come as we stay together and focused. I just wanted to come on and make sure you guys had a space to get kind of information and know exactly where to go. We've posted it here for you as well. And so thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to share this around with your friends. But the big headline is that President Biden has announced that the Equal Rights Amendment is now the law of the land. And let's go forth and make and feel good about the fact that we have a country that is willing to protect us. You all have a fabulous weekend. Till next time.